Well, there's been a few adjustments to the nightclub in Grand Theft Auto Online, so it's time to do the math and see if it's still worth the effort. My name's Dan and I'm an old grumpy gamer. We've got a lot of ground to cover here. This is one of the most complex businesses in GTA Online and there's a lot to take in. So we'll break this down into chapters with timestamps in the description below. We'll be going through why you'd want a nightclub, budget and purchase options, setting up the nightclub, making money, popularity, door fees, the warehouse, raids, and a few pro tips. So first things first, why on earth would you want to buy a nightclub? Well, since the latest rounds of updates, these can really help bolster your income. How much income, I hear you ask? Well, a fully upgraded nightclub can bring you a whopping $91,500 per hour, done right, with a non-insubstantial amount of that being more or less passive, which is great for AFKers, grinders, and people who love doing contact missions. This is one of the very few businesses in GTA where you can bring in reasonable money without much effort, most of the time. Oh, and you'll also need a nightclub if you want to purchase a terabyte, which is required if you want to customize or weaponize your Mark II oppressor. Okay, so let's talk budget. To get started in the nightclub business, you'll need to be a VIP, motorcycle club president, or a CEO. Since VIPs no longer have the restrictions they used to, you no longer need to purchase an MC or an office, so that's a win. We have 10 different options to choose from. Elysian Island at $1,080,000, just outside the LSIA at $1.135 million, Vespucci Canals at $1,320,000, Cypress Flats at $1,370,000, Mission Row at $1,440,000, La Mesa at 1.5 mil, Strawberry at 1.525 mil, Del Perro at $1,645,000, Downtown Vinewood at $1,670,000, and finally West Vinewood at 1.7 even. I ended up going with Cypress Flats because I'm a bit of a car guy and it's the closest to the LS car meet. Also, it's worth noting the LSIA club does not give you access to the actual airport. Next, we have some upgrades, starting with the style. The default setup's pretty nice, but if you want some custom lighting and styling, then you're looking at between $225,000 and $300,000 in addition to your purchase price. While you're there, you can also tweak the lighting. There's a few different options available. Again, you can leave it as it comes at no additional cost, or you can spend up to $295,000 on the fancier aesthetic. Next up, naming your club. We have a few options here. Omega is included in your purchase price, but you can pick from one of the other 8 name options at a flat cost of $33,500. On to the club's customizations next. You can optionally purchase a couple of dancers for your new club. Prices start at $213,500 for the 2-girl underground style and work their way up to $255,000 for the guy-girl grandeur combo. While we're here, Dry Ice is a neat little addition at $345,000 should you be inclined. And right, on to functional upgrades. The nightclub comes with a single parking spot. This is great for that showy supercar if you want it, or the stretch limo. But if you want to add some real garage space, you'll need to purchase the basement floors. The first additional floor will set you back $395,000. The second additional floor is an extra $809,750, and the third floor will cost you $1,245,250. There's also a fourth additional floor, and you'll need to purchase this if you want to be able to park your terabyte. To purchase this parking space, you'll be stung a whopping $1,702,550, and that's on top of having to purchase every floor before it. So yet another example of Rockstar being grabby. Okay, so the basics are done. There'll be a quick setup mission, which we'll get to in a few moments. But once that's done, you'll be able to purchase the club upgrades. Equipment upgrades at $1,425,000, which will make your warehouse's tech more efficient. Staff upgrades at $475,000, which extends the time it takes for popularity to degrade, making the club more profitable for longer. And finally, the security upgrade at $695,000, which reduces the likelihood of the club being attacked by enemies. Oh, and there's a bunch of vehicles you can purchase to help with the nightclub warehouse sell missions, if you're so inclined, which will set you back upwards of $1 million with all of the upgrades. You do get a free delivery van though, so you don't need the extra vehicles straight away. Whoa, so to summarize, that is the nightclub for $1,080,000, all the upgrades for $2,595,000, making your total minimum spend $3,675,000 plus $2,250 per in-game day for outgoings too. But you're better off with a budget of around $11 million, including a nicer location and all of the upgrades. So if you're able to keep everything ticking along at a maximum, that's around 41 hours of real world gameplay to break even. So definitely a long-term investment, but it's largely hands-off. Once you've made your purchase, head over to the new facility and head on in. You'll get a fun little cutscene with all of your favourites, and Laszlo, as well as a bit of a briefing on how the club works. At the end of the cutscene, you'll be dropped into a very empty dance floor, or at least where the dance floor will be. Head upstairs and make your way to the office, where you'll get another quick cutscene. After that's over, register as a boss, then head over to the PC, sit down and log in. You'll be presented with two options: set up staff and set up equipment. It doesn't matter which one you do first, but let's start with the staff. Once you click the setup button, you'll immediately be booted back to the free roam lobby and Tony will give you a call. Now, listen to it carefully, it's important. Jump in the car, jump into the pause menu, then the map. Have a bit of a poke around looking for the blue markers to work out the best route. Set your marker and head off. Once you've picked everyone up, you'll get a new yellow marker for the club. Head to the waypoint to complete the first round of setups, at which point you'll be dropped into the entry hall of your new nightclub. Okay, equipment next, so wander through back up to the office and jump on the PC again. Click the remaining setup button, and again, you'll be booted into free roam. You'll get another briefing from Tony. Listen to it carefully, it's important. This time we'll be heading to a festival to acquire some audio equipment. Head to the yellow marker, but stop a bit short. Then approach the bus from the off side using stealth. Jump in and simply drive off. Once again, you'll see a new marker pop up. Just follow that back to the club. Oh, and you don't have to worry about damaging the vehicle too much. Even if everything comes off the top, you'll still pass. Once you finish up, you'll be presented with another cutscene. Again, it's good fun, so I'd encourage you to watch the whole thing. Okay, once that cutscene is done, you'll immediately be sent back to free roam and start the final setup mission, picking up Solomon. Head over to the car, and once you're in, English Dave will give you a bit of a briefing. Follow the on-screen prompts and keep an ear out for Dave's directions, because this mission gets interesting. After you've finally collected Solomon, head back to the club again by following the yellow marker. When you make it back, Dave, Solomon and yourself will wander back into the club for the final major cutscene. Have a bit of a dance once that's done and enjoy yourself. When you're ready, head back upstairs and sit down at the PC for your next briefing. Once you log in, Tony will walk you through how to use the management system. It's worth paying attention here because this one's pretty complex. After Tony has taken you through each tab, click on the bottom one, Upgrades. You'll see 3 different options available. Equipment at $1,425,000, which will make your warehouse techs more efficient. Staff at $475,000, which extends the time it takes popularity to degrade, making the club more profitable for longer. And finally, security at $695,000, which reduces the likelihood of the club being attacked by police. Honestly, if you've got the cash, you want all of these. The overall improvement in the quality of the business is well and truly worth it if you can. Oh, and don't worry about the prices on screen. I picked this up during an event week. So as I mentioned near the start of the video, there are 3 distinct ways to make money through the club. The first is through club promotions, which brings NPCs through the door and earns a passive income. The second is by charging an entry fee to the club, where other real-world players have to pay a fee to get in. This is honestly negligible, as it's mainly driven through daily objectives. And the third way is through the nightclub warehouse, which I'll get to in a moment. So starting with promotions. Your nightclub has a popularity meter that is not dissimilar to the biker business stock meter. When it's full, it means your club is super popular and it's at maximum earning capacity. At the time of recording, that was about $50,000 per hour. Over the course of 10 real-world hours, the popularity of your club will slowly decline until you're earning practically nothing. There are two ways to increase popularity. The first is pretty easy. When your popularity gets low, change DJs. You can do this by going to Resident DJ, then clicking on someone you haven't used in a while. The first time you do this for a particular DJ, it will cost $10,000 and you'll have to do a setup mission. Most of them are a bit of fun, but they take around 15 minutes each, so make sure you have the time. After each DJ's first booking, your club will have a full popularity meter and you're good to go for a while. Once you've gone through all 4 DJs, you can book anyone at any time at a cost of $10,000. However, you'll only increase the popularity of your club by 10% per rebook, but you'll make that back pretty quickly. The next method is popularity missions. You can access these by clicking Nightclub Management, then clicking Promote Club. Once confirmed, you'll be booted back into free roam and you'll get a call from Tony. Now, listen to it carefully, it's important. Tony will give you one of around half a dozen promotion missions, from flying the blimp to putting up posters. Each mission takes between 5 and 10 minutes once you get practiced. After successfully completing a promotion mission, your club's popularity will increase by 20% and your earnings will increase relative to popularity. Once you've done a few popularity missions and your bar's back at 100%, you'll be properly earning again and you can leave it for a while. The third method to increase popularity is by completing manager missions. These are fairly straightforward. Either you'll get a text from someone like Marcel to let you know that there's trouble at the nightclub, or when you visit your nightclub, you'll see a blue dot. Typically, this will mark one of 2 different mission types. Ejector Troublemaker, which honestly is about as easy as it gets. You just wander over to the clown, press the button in the top left of your screen, and wait about 20 seconds for a cutscene. The other is dropping off a VIP. You go collect them, then drive a limo very carefully to the destination marked, and that's it. Typically, these ones take around 5 minutes or so. The second way to make money from your club is through door fees. This charges other real-world players a fee for entry to your club. There's not a lot of money in this, but if someone has a daily objective to complete, they'll need to enter your club and will likely pay. To set this up, go to your interaction menu. That's M on your keyboard, the double squares on your Xbox, or swipe on your PlayStation controller. Select Nightclub Management, then you can set the entry cost. And that's it. Any player wandering into your club will pay a fee, which in turn will be paid to you directly. Right, the third and final way to make money in the nightclub, and honestly the one you've probably been waiting for, is the warehouse. This one's really complex and it takes a bit to get your head around, but the upshot is it augments the other businesses you might own. So if you own and run a crate warehouse, hangar, bunker, or any other biker business, your nightclub will unlock certain additional warehouse work. This does not in any way touch the other businesses. They still run as normal with their own stock and their own sell missions. This is completely separate. So here's what to do. Sit down at your computer, log in, and head to the warehouse management. Now I own a crate warehouse, which means the cargo and shipments option is unlocked. I also own a bunker, which means the sporting goods option is unlocked. And that means I'll need 2 technicians. We get one free, but we'll need to hire the other one for the second business. So I'll go ahead and do that now. And of course, each technician you hire costs more and more money. So just bear that in mind for later. Right, now that's done, I can allocate a technician to the cargo and shipments work, and the second technician to the sporting goods work. And now those technicians will work to create stock in my nightclub warehouse. Again, it doesn't touch the actual crate warehouse or the bunker stuff. It's completely separate with independent stock levels and independent sell missions. It just works on the nightclub warehouse itself. Okay, so while they're ticking away, let's quickly look at what unlocks what. Owning a cargo warehouse or a hangar will unlock the cargo and shipments option. Owning a bunker will unlock the sporting goods option. Owning a Coke biker business will unlock the South American imports option. Owning a meth lab biker business will unlock the pharmaceutical research option. Owning the weed farm will unlock the organic produce option. The document forgery biker business will unlock the printing and copying option. And finally, owning the counterfeit cash business will unlock the cash creation option. Now, the more astute amongst you may have noticed we have a problem. We have 7 options available, but only 5 technicians. And if you own every possible business on the list, that means some decisions will have to be made. In this case, printing and copying and organic produce options are the least profitable, so we'll skip those if it comes to it. Rightio, once you've allowed your nightclub to fill up, it's time for you to do a sell mission. Now, the great thing about selling nightclub stock is it never ever gives you more than one vehicle. Instead, the game will limit how many units you can sell. So if you've only got a Speedo Custom, that's the one that comes with the nightclub, you'll be able to sell a maximum of 90 units per run. When you upgrade to the Mule, you'll be able to sell up to 180 units per run. And finally, if you upgrade to the Pounder, you'll be able to sell 360 units per run. So that's a full nightclub warehouse worth of stock. But the point is, you'll never get more than a single vehicle to deal with, which is mercifully welcome after the biker businesses and the bunker cell businesses. Again, make sure you're a CEO, VIP, or an MC president, then head to your nightclub's office. This can be done from the master control station too, but don't do that, it's silly. Take a seat at the computer, log in, and head to the sell menu. Click on the sell stock button, then the confirm button next, and you'll be booted back into the public lobby. After a moment, you'll get another call from Tony. Now, listen to it carefully, it's important. Tony will brief you on one of a half dozen different sell missions. Sometimes it's a single drop, but more often than not, it's 5 package drops from a single vehicle. Simply follow the instructions to drop off the goods, avoiding any griefers, of course, and you're good. As soon as the last package is dropped, the money will be deposited into your account and you can continue putting around in free mode. Oh, and if you run out of time or get your cargo destroyed by griefers, you'll still get a partial payment for anything you have delivered if there's multiple drop-offs. One last thing to be aware of is the potential for nightclub raids. These are rare, but not unheard of, and it's worth covering. So starting with the popularity raid. I've never had one of these. They are super, super rare, but my understanding is they have a simple mission to complete once the raid starts, not dissimilar to the raids on the MC business. If you fail a popularity raid, there's no real consequence other than your nightclub popularity tanking. Annoying, but not the end of the world. The next raid you can become a victim of is a nightclub warehouse raid. These are a little more common and can devastate your nightclub's income. If you have more than a 40% stock level in your nightclub warehouse for more than 8 hours, and both of those figures are halved if you don't have the upgrades, so 20% for 4 hours, but assuming you have the upgrades, 40% or more stock in your warehouse for more than 8 hours will result in a chance of a warehouse raid. Again, apparently it's pretty easy to sort these guys, same as a raid on your Coke business or your meth lab, but if you miss the notification because you're not paying attention or you're AFK or something, it will zero your stock. So massive pain in the ass there, especially if you miss one after AFKing all night. All right, pro tips. First up, like most other businesses, if you're registered as some sort of manager, that's a CEO, VIP, or an MC president, the game assumes you're actively running a business, and that means they can be open to raids and attacks. If you're not actively working a business and you're not doing something that expressly requires you to be registered as a CEO, VIP, or an MC president, then you should resign. This will significantly reduce the chance of having stock stolen or otherwise destroyed while you're not actively working the nightclub. Same goes for almost every other business too. If you're not actively working something, you should resign your post as a VIP, CEO, or MC president. Next, in order to unlock the different types of nightclub warehouse stock, not only do you need to own the relevant business, but they need to be running. Now, that's not to say you have to supply them, sell stock, or actively participate in them. You just need to own them and keep them active. So if you really wanted to, you could purchase the cheapest version of each of those individual businesses without any upgrades and completely ignore them. Doing that will still unlock the relevant stock type in the nightclub warehouse so you can maximize your cash income. And finally, AFKing is a great way to build stock. If you've not heard of the term before, it means away from keyboard, which is the practice of keeping the game open without actually participating in it. Now, the more experienced of you will know that after 13 minutes of inactivity, Rockstar will terminate your session and boot you from online. But there's a way around it. If you have an LS Car Meet membership, which you can get for 50 grand, you can head to the test track. Once you're in, simply reverse back out and head back up the ramp, and you'll be dropped into an action menu. When that pops up, do nothing. Just leave your PC or your console on that screen and your session won't terminate. My standing record for AFKing this way is around 2 days straight. And if you don't have an LS Car Meet membership, you can do something similar at the casino. Just head to the ground floor entrance, fingerprints, hop out of your vehicle and return it to storage, and walk to the front door. You'll get an interrupt screen asking you where you want to go, and just leave it there and you won't be booted. And that's it. Thanks for watching. Stay safe, wash your hands, and we'll see you in the next video.